Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Lace Up Podcast, episode 12. I got my co-host here,
What's up, guys? Devin Donovan.
and we got a special guest, as always, heavy hitters. We got Chance the Rapper. No, I'm only kidding. We got our boy Sean Williams from Newark. He's here to share his story, and hopefully you guys can relate, and we can convey a positive message here.
Absolutely. New Jersey in the building. Sean, what up, baby?
What up,
Happy to
Dad?
have
What's
you
up,
on,
Sean-o?
bro. Happy to have you on. So, yeah, what was life like growing up in Jersey, bro? What was your upbringing, your childhood like?
It's like basically like just growing up without a mom and dad. My mom and dad had me very young, so my grandparents had to raise me. Uh, Basically it was just like from like age 1 to 5, I was like raised in a house with like at least 10, 15 people. Uh, just like it was like I would say like a decent household.
Yeah.
So like after my grandmother and grandfather broke up, I just like ended up with my grandmother. And it was just like we lived in like a 3 family house, and it was just like my grandmother lived on the first floor, my aunt lived on the second, and me and my grandmother lived on the third floor.
Yeah.
So like I was around like a lot of like crazy shit, like drinking every day,
Yeah.
drugging every day and shit like
Yeah.
that. Watching my uncles and them like running in and out of the house like doing dumb shit, like
Yeah.
the basic shit. And
You come from a big family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, real big family.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I never knew that. I knew you had it tough growing up. It's funny because we're mad close, but these deep conversations that we have on the podcast, you don't always necessarily have on a day-to-day basis with
No,
your boys.
absolutely.
Because a lot of times Sean lives in a house with us. For people that don't know, like we're in a house. We
In
all
a frat house.
frat house. We all went through rock and recovery. Shout out to Eddie McGrath. But yeah, man, like you don't always have these deep conversations with people. A lot of times it's like surface level stuff, and we're laughing and joking. But like similar to you, bro. I was raised by my grandmother and around a lot of that same bullshit, man. And
Yeah, God bless the fucking.
God bless
Nanas.
grandmothers, yeah.
Yeah.
Nanas, grandmothers, all that, bro. They're the real MVP. I always say, like, I don't know, my mother still to this day like holds resentment towards my grandmother for like taking me from her. But at the end of the day, like, if my grandmother didn't take me, I don't know how I would have ended up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we gotta be grateful for the things,
Yeah.
Sometimes, the resentments are individual, personal
Yeah.
thing.
So
But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you with Sean, and it's nice to have these talks and whatnot because we do, we play around a lot and stuff, and we love to laugh and we catch wreck, and like that's great. I think there's something to be said about people that can laugh in the face of pain or through adversity, but then there's time to get, when it's time to get serious, there's a time and a place for
we
those
could
things.
we can do both on the Lace Up podcast. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We could talk about trauma, and then we could be like, yo, shout out to Sausage. You know what I mean?
Right,
Fuck,
right, yeah,
whatever-
Sean like that shit, yeah.
Whatever it takes, bro.
But in the way Sean moves, you know what I mean? Like we were saying recently, what comes out of someone's mouth is like only is worth only so much, but like actions do, actions speak louder, and
Yeah.
he carries himself, like a gentleman, like a man, and goes to
Absolutely.
work every day, shows up for life, and but at the same time, I think it is critical. It's important to have these talks and whatnot, So I'm very grateful to be able to sit down and have this conversation with him today, because it's not something that typically normally comes up, like how do you approach
Yeah,
someone with that?
Of course, and not everybody's always willing to get vulnerable and get honest on camera about certain topics. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of like the message we're trying to spread is like it's okay to speak your truth. You know what I mean? And let your shit out there. But so all right. So you grew up in Newark, right? Your grandmother raised you. Come from a big family. So what, your mother, father were like in and out of the house?
yeah, like my dad was in and out of prison. My mom, she was like in and out of my life to like
Yep.
a certain extent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's
So in Newark, is that like what's the capital of Jersey? That's terrible. Now.
Trenton.
Trenton. Yeah. So I know of like Camden. I've heard of Newark and stuff like that.
Newark's bad,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Give us a little
Newark's-
rundown. Like, tell us what it was like growing up. It's like teenage years or early teens.
Yeah. Like towards like early teens, I was like into sports and stuff like that. So it wasn't like too much like I was exposed to shit, but it was like I was like too busy like in school and playing sports.
Yep.
And like I'd say like my first year of high school, I started like getting more in tune with everything, like, and it was just like
Yeah, right,
Yeah, like
right.
crazy from there because I started like getting exposed to certain things that I probably shouldn't have and stuff like that. My grandmother, she like was having like we was having like financial problems, so that like couldn't get the stuff that I used to be able to get. So it's like
Yeah, no,
just
I feel you.
Yeah.
And then
start
I'm
hanging
sure
around.
that subconsciously felt familiar to you, as that when you started being introduced to these things because you already it already started in the home or whatnot. So that we sometimes we think we're shielding our kids or protecting them or what they don't know won't hurt them, but like they're pretty smart, and they sponge that stuff up in the most, and they take things in, and then when they internalize it, that becomes a problem later on. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah. Is Newark a big city?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pre-
it's
yeah,
pretty big, and it's
yeah.
right on the water, pretty much too,
Yeah,
right? I heard.
yeah, it's 5 watts.
From what I've heard, a lot of shit comes in
So
New
is it
York.
near?
They got the
Give
airport. They got the airport right in Newark, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's pretty.
They got is it near like how far from New York City?
it's like I say like 30-minute drive if
Oh,
no
Really?
traffic.
Yeah.
that's close.
So you spent a lot of time in bouncing back and forth, or I'm sure you've spent.
Sometime like yeah.
Yeah.
New York wasn't really like my thing. Like I ain't
Tell
like
us, give us the
Yo,
the
Jersey, New
difference.
York got smoked.
Well, give
a
us the
little bit,
difference,
right?
like
Right?
in your words and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, because New York, I mean, you don't need to. They'll tell you. If you're from New York, I always say like the Big Apple or whatever, and that's like the,
It's like if you're from
the center-
Charlestown, chances are someone's gonna tell you within like the first 3 minutes.
yeah. I mean, but rightfully so. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And,
No,
yeah,
I ain't.
like that. You know what I mean? Like you got to represent, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Kid.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, like when, all right. So you started playing sports. Yeah, freshman year, you started getting exposed a little bit to the lifestyle, to the drugs, whatever. When did you start? When did it start like interfering with sports, interfering with school? Becoming a problem.
yeah, like around my sophomore year, football season was over. I was playing basketball. Basketball wasn't really working out because like the team sucked, and that wasn't even the main reason. I just like
Yeah.
found the like different route. Like it just like
Yeah.
started being out there, seeing people like doing what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Being able to like have nice shit and stuff like that, and I got like influenced by it.
Yeah. Who don't want nice shit, right?
Of
Yeah.
course.
And started like said fuck school. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was slowly like went from like going 1-2 days a week to like just going missing weeks of school.
Yeah. Yep. Slowly became less and less of a priority.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
basically like I say like by that spring I was like start using PCP.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just
Angel
like
dust.
yeah.
And now,
But
PCP, a lot of people that don't know, a hallucinogenic, very, serious drug or whatnot, and it was big in my neighborhood. So in Newark, a lot of people, it's funny that, I've come across a couple, places, down when I was in Wyatt in Rhode Island, and I met some kids from where,
I didn't know you were
where
at
Double
Wyatt.
A was from.
You went to Wyatt?
Central Falls, yeah,
Oh, shit.
in
Oh,
transit,
shit.
and before I went to MDC Brooklyn, and Diddy wasn't there yet though. No, he'd be in PC anyway. But yeah, and it was big. Wherever he was from down in where was Double A from?
Bristol.
Bristol, yeah. So I met some dudes from there, and it was big there. Or in Philly they call it wet. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Getting
yeah,
wet.
it's funny, because it's like in my neighborhood in Mass or whatnot, and the Boston area. That's like the Charlestown, Somerville. That's
course.
it's big for that. And it's a problem. But. It was almost glorified growing up, and I'm sure maybe it was the same for you guys. Like it was almost like smoking marijuana,
yeah, nah. It was like a different culture. Like I mainly got like judged for like, you know what I'm saying? Like shit was real when people found out about it. You know what I'm saying? Like got in physical altercation with family members and shit because they cared. You know what I'm saying? Like coming up, I used to like see people around me smoking that shit. Like go out do dumb shit, smoking it. Like you know what I'm saying? And it was like, just like.
Well, you know what I think's funny too is especially in a inner city like Newark, right? And depending on where you're from and what you're doing, like a lot of different cultures, like there's a lot of judgment that comes with using drugs, right? Especially like if you're surrounded by people that are selling drugs. I mean, I think that's like the number one rule of thumb, right? Is don't use your own product, or don't be a fiend, or whatever they want to call it, right?
And people don't have a choice.
And a lot of times, like, you know, it's like, oh, well, I'm just sniffing it, or I'm just smoking dust, or I ain't sticking a needle in my arm. You know, a lot of people think that way, and it ain't necessarily the substance, right? It's the motive behind, you know, what you're doing, right? You're doing it because I don't
it's
know,
our
maybe
mentality.
you're not comfortable, maybe you're not comfortable in the household, or maybe you're just trying to fit in, or whatever the
No,
case
I think that
may
has
be.
everything to do with it.
Of course.
We've talked about it before. You know, I say when you know, is to speak on that. You know, with the PCP, let's say, right? Or why would anyone make that choice to like do something? You know, that is, you know, you play in Russian roulette, or it's something that's that like much of a threat, right? But well, because the person's in that much more pain than like the thought of like they're not worried about that at the time, right? So I think that it comes down to everything. I think that that's why, you know, I look back and it's like, if you have a chance to feel numb and not have to feel emotions, not have to feel like shitty feelings, right? That's the answer. I mean, and now what do we do with that? You know what I mean? It's great to like, all right, it sounds good, you know, and you know, I think it's more important to try to speak on what we can do about it, as opposed to like, you know, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Well, it happened. You know what I'm
Doesn't
saying?
really matter. You're
And,
right.
and at the
You're
end of
right.
the day, I feel like, you know, I mean, to me, I know, you know, all you have to say is like growing up in your home and stuff like that, and from circumstance, right? And everyone's pain's relevant, and everyone's pain matters. And you know, as a human being, it's like, yeah, you internalize that shit, and it's gonna come out fucking sideways.
Yeah,
bro,
it's
at
gonna
some
come
point.
out one way or another, right? It could come out in drugs, it could come out in fighting, it come out in you know, I know you're big into music too. When did you start like rapping, fucking around, or like being serious or whatever?
Like me, it was like basically like my cousin used to have like shit in the house around when I was like 8. Like, so one day I just decided to get on the computer. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
fuck
Turn on
around.
instrumentals that was on there,
Hell
and I remember my great grandmother caught me, and
Hell
she
yeah.
like, yo, like she told my grandfather like, yo,
She
he
was
going,
pissed?
nah.
Oh,
She was like basically like, yo, he could possibly be something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like, I think the next Christmas, my uncle, he used to play the guitar all the time, so he
Yeah.
got me a guitar.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. I mean, I learned how to play like it a little bit, but like it was just like the start of music. Became like as years went on, became a teenager. Like start writing shit. First, I started like record. I used to put 2 Bluetooth speakers together,
No shit.
and like with my phone,
Yeah.
and in the tablet or something like that, and just like play the instrumental, and
Hell
then like
Yeah, yeah, you're very
recorded
creative in
on
that
there.
way.
Yeah,
Artistic.
Yo, Sean's a man of many trades, man. For real, he can chef it up in the kitchen, dude. He's
Yeah.
nice. He's nice in the studio. He's very talented.
And that's what
very
I mean, you know,
talented.
and that's a beautiful thing, and that's why I feel like it is important for people to hear other people speak and hear their message, right? Because, you know, and I know I speak for myself, but I think you guys will relate when it comes to like if it's really not about what we think is relevant or what matters. Like, you know, our thinking may tell us like, you know, no one wants to hear that or that's not important, but it's like, who the fuck are you to say, right? Like, you know, and no, and you're not going to know until you open your mouth, right? And like your story is inspirational, is motivational, and to know like that, like, bro, that's big shit. That, you know, you're worth it, and like you know, inspire and motivate people to like, you know, move forward. Because I mean, I've heard some of you know, your stuff that you've worked on and everything, and we've discussed, you know, little things, and I feel like that's the only way to get over
See,
that hump.
bro,
You know?
that's what right there. Phone on DND. You know what I mean? It's on
Yeah.
DND. How's she getting through if it's still on DND? Speaking of what he was segueing into, Sean got a new single coming out. DND. What is it called? DND. Yeah, that shit's
Yeah.
fire, bro. And
Fire,
that's
bro.
exactly the reason why.
And
Yeah,
that's what I mean
she
about
probably listening to this, but yo,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna be pushing that shit. Run it up, and yeah. But Sean, you know those things that you learned in that home, right? Because like I said, we can sit here, and I think you know, you know,
I gotta make sure
the
this
lace up
mic's
is
still
like
going.
about, you know, yeah, discussing, you know,
good.
putting it out there, you know, getting vulnerable, but at the same time, like, now what do we
good.
do, right? How do we move forward? And you know, because I don't know how to do it on my own, right? But like, if I open my mouth, then like you guys can, I can pick someone's brain and stuff, and you know, it's easy for us to point out the negatives and stuff, right? And like, it is important. It's, you know, to see where it may stem from, you know, trauma or whatnot, or different things. But at the same time, the positive things, like you learned all these positive things, right? And it's made you who you are, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, I believe focusing on that is huge, you know, like, because we're here, and like we have an opportunity, you know, and a lot of people don't have that.
No, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, man. And a lot of people, right? Because we came up similar, right? Like grandmother raised us, mother, father, drinking, drugging, in the street, out of the household, right? In and out, in and out. I used that for a very long time to play the victim, right? I played the victim for a very long time, thought everyone owed me something, had a chip on my shoulder, right? And you could easily do the same thing. And we're very similar in age, and you're mature and you're humble and you carry yourself a certain way. You don't walk around acting like nobody owes you shit, right? Because at the end of the day, they don't. No matter what you've been through, right? It's up to you to take accountability at some point and be like, nah, this ain't the road I want to go down, and this ain't the life I want to live. And me playing the victim only feeds like the devil, right? It only feeds my addiction. It doesn't feed me being like a good person and me like, trying to live the life we're living today. You know what I mean? So very, very proud of you for that. So all right. Sophomore year, you start getting into you start getting in a little bit of trouble. You first smoked dust for the first time.
Yeah.
So what, were
So it
you
was
like
like the
15?
springtime.
15?
Yeah, but before then I was like smoking weed,
Yeah.
Xanax type shit, like trying
course.
it out. You know
Were
what
they
I'm saying?
still real at this point, the Xanax? They were real, right?
definitely.
Fetty hadn't
Nah.
came into the mix yet? Yeah.
It was just like the Hawks.
Yeah. The Hulks, the green Hulks, them shits are fucking, right, Jake? Jake knows. Oh, yeah, the yellows and the greens. Fucking, no joke, dude. No
Chickens
joke.
for a little second, like that's the only thing I could like get to in the morning type
Yeah,
shit. So it was
of
like
course.
I had to wait for my man to come out
Yeah.
in the evening. So in the morning I'm off
The
bar,
first time I ever took Xanax, dude, I ate like 4 of the green Hulks, dude. No tolerance whatsoever. And I'm at a party drinking alcohol. The next morning, no clue where my cigarettes were, no clue where my phone was, no clue where my wallet was. Woke up in some kid's house. I did not know who the fuck he was. And I don't know, I had him call our local weed dealer, and I just walked up to his car and stole like 4 ounces of weed from him. No weapon, nothing. The kid just handed it over.
You probably should have called local fucking.
I probably should have called Eddie
local
McGrath and
psych
asked for a
ward.
bed and detox.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know at the time.
Yeah,
But no, like you get like that fucking invincible courage about you though when you're on beans, dude. Like I'll fucking.
You don't even know you have.
No, I'll fucking fight I'll fight Mike Tyson right now, dude. Make myself
Yeah.
look like a fool. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too that we want to say, like, there's no glorification. It's a bad look. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you are a real tough guy, whatever you take those, you're probably gonna catch a murder beef, right? And if you're not, you're gonna get exactly what you deserve, probably. Like if you, because people, no, honestly, that's the thing. You see like even the nicest people, nicest kids, raise good families and stuff like that, and they all of a sudden they get that either liquid courage or they take a couple beans and all, and now they want to fight the world, and it's like, bro, and I'd say this to someone like, listen, you can walk around with a chip on your shoulder, you can be angry, but like, you'd rather be humbled in the right way as opposed to like life will humble you, the streets will humble you, and you're gonna run into someone that's like more angrier or has a bigger chip or is tougher and you know what, and maybe justifiably so, and or maybe they can justify their anger more than you, right? So it's like, now what do you want to do, right? So be careful what you wish for when it comes to that shit.
100%. So did you graduate high school?
Yeah, I ended up like going to an alternative school or whatever.
Yeah.
Completing it, yeah.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah, no, it's good. You got a diploma and shit. It's good.
So now, so moving forward, whatnot. So as you're out there as a teenager and stuff, you're experimenting. It's innocent enough. The consequences aren't that severe. Maybe your family's a little disappointed, and whatnot. But at the same time, I always say the guilt of that, like, it was never deep enough, right? Because I knew my family loved me. I knew there was unconditional love, and I knew that, like, I could get away with certain things. Maybe not literally thought this, but like I knew that they'd be there, right? So like I accepted, like they talk about settling for less. I accepted being like, all right, I can disappoint them, right? Like that, and then like selling my cell phone, and in turn, like more or less causing like drama in their life, because it meant more like whatever, like on the street corner or like whatever my peers felt or whatnot, and how they viewed me. That was like, that meant more than like that disappointment of my family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which was like the biggest fucking, that was probably
of course.
Biggest lie I told myself at the beginning.
What other people think, and they're usually the wrong people. Which is fucked up in hindsight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, all right, so I just found this out today. Actually, our nonverbal co-manager Evan told me. But shout out to Evan, man. He's the best.
He's just quiet though.
He's just quiet. He's the best.
We can learn a lot from Evan.
Yeah, of course. Evan Evan kills it, dude. Evan kills it. I didn't know. So you got shot at, right? And you got shot. What age were you when you got shot? What's the story behind that?
It wasn't intended for me. Like, I was just basically went to go get some bars from the spot I would be going to.
Yeah.
Dice game going on.
Yeah.
Wanted to play dice.
Playing a little CeeLo.
Yeah. Just like, yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Had a little dust that day.
Wow.
Yeah, on top of bars.
Damn, dust and bars, crazy.
So you right.
Woke
So now,
up.
you're in the wrong place, the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, and so tell us, give us a little story as much as you can without, you know what I mean?
So basically, I'm off a couple bars already earlier that day. Down that way is like where I go get my dust from anyway. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm about to shoot down there. Went to go get some bars. Went to go grab some dust, whatever. Standing in front of the building, whoop, 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 shooting dice. All I know is somebody ended up getting into it out there, and somebody came back, spent it.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
blacked out, woke up in the fucking hospital the next day.
Where'd you get hit?
In my leg.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Basically an ass shot, but
Was that a wake up? Was that a wake up call for you, or I'm assuming it was more like, or did
Nah,
it?
nah,
In
I don't give a
hindsight,
Fuck,
when,
you were numb, right?
when
didn't
you
give a
look
fuck?
back, did that almost like escalate or like progress like your mindset or whatnot, or feel like almost like okay, like it was almost like street cred in a sense, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where,
like,
dude,
I'm invincible. I just caught a stray and lived.
something like that. Cause I was still 16 at
of
the time.
course,
So it
yeah,
was like
right.
Wow,
the
16
next day I
years
was
old.
crutches outside, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sean got on the football field the next week, dude. Just
Yeah,
like fucking
bro.
Brian Robinson, they were playing mini men,
what's
dude.
up.
Fucking walking out. That's fire. But
Your
nah,
family
that's-
must have been scared to death, bro.
Of course, bro.
yeah, my mom was, you know what I'm saying? Like, towards my teenage years, like, I actually, like, lived with my mom. And it's around the time, like, I lived with her from, like, my freshman year to, like, towards I started fucking up, you know what I'm saying? So it was, like, after she, like, found that I was doing what I was doing, she ain't want me in her house. Because, like, I had little brothers and stuff like that. Like, they can't be looking up to that shit.
You know
what
what?
I'm
How
saying?
many, how
And
many
that
brothers
says-
and sisters you got?
What, 7?
Wow.
Damn, bro.
Damn.
And you're the oldest?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Williams family runs deep, baby.
But that's, and for you to be like the power of example for them, like that makes me even respect you even more. And like, see your mom, like, credit to her, bro. Like she, you would come back into her life or whatnot, and I'm sure she did put a lot of work in for that to make that happen, and then for her to be like, no, like unacceptable, set a boundary, and like, it's, to me, it says everything about her character,
Yeah, of
like
course.
and I'm sure at the time you weren't probably trying to hear that. You were probably like, weren't really understanding that or processing it. But, I'm sure you can look back now and be like, you just said it right there. She couldn't allow that,
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell me if you feel the same way. But like I know for me, right? Like I said about the victim mentality, and I held resentment towards my mother and my father for a very long time. And coming through this process of recovery, right, and doing a lot of internal work on myself, step work, therapy, inventory, all that, and I learned to somehow accept things for what they were and what they are now. Obviously, like my dad ain't here no more, but my mother went to Australia for like 6-7 years after my dad died, so I held a resentment towards her for that. Never mind like being an addict my whole life and being in and out, but I was wondering like if you're at peace at the way with like, with the way things turned out, because looking back for me, like I know that they did the best they could and they were just caught up in the mix. And like to this day, my relationship with my mother is a work in progress, and I don't hold that resentment like I used to. And I don't know if that's the case with you.
Like with me, like I don't really like hold the resentment towards my mom. It's just like we don't speak as much as we should. And
Yeah.
It's just like I gotta work on that. That's me, because I'm like the child. I gotta reach out.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, my number changed a lot. So it's just like,
Yeah. No, of
how
course.
the fuck how I expect her to reach out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
even thinking like that, and like that selfless thinking where it's like I can, I'd hear the word selfish before, like, and I'd take everything, even terminology, you know what I mean? It had nothing to do, even the feelings ran deep, but like certain words, selfish or whatever, and it's like, that's the whole point was this. I couldn't see it like I couldn't understand it at first, but it was like, bro, you're selfish because you're so full of fear that you're self-centered, right? So I can easily go, X amount of time without like, I can just go through the motions, right? And as long as Joe's okay, right? like I'll shut everyone else out of my life, right? And that's not, to me, like that's not growth. That's not being a man. Like that's like being that kid, being that boy, where it's like, but then if I need something, like I'll probably expect you like subconsciously to be there. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? But it's like you got to give, to receive, and that's I think that's part of the whole process. You know what I mean? And I'm
100%.
still learning as I go.
Of course. I think that's the best thing about it, man, is I say it all the time. We all say it is we can come on here and no matter how much clean time you have or don't have, or how much life experience you have or don't have, we can all learn from each other. You know what I mean? And it's like they always say being open-minded and remaining teachable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because like we talk about too with the pride and ego, we could get we could be too high up here, we could be too much down here, like either beating ourselves up or thinking our shit don't stink, and like we got to just stay in the middle, bro.
Yeah, that balance it certainly takes work. You know what I mean? That's something that I've learned, and it's not easy, but I don't know. I feel it. They say pain's a great motivator, and I know that at this stage of the game, it's like I can either do the drill or not, right? That's up to me, and it's like, am I okay with suffering? Because that's what it's like. How much am I willing to take? And but I think that it's great that we all. I think we're blessed to be able to be here together and like and cross paths like we did, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Like we know what the common theme is, right? The pain, like, and I think that's universal. That's something that we talk about in the lace up, Yep. And we got Jada at the beginning talking about pain,
Yeah, Jada. So who were some of your favorite rappers growing up?
Like,
and still to this day, like just listen.
The first album I ever had was 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
I love 50.
My grandmother had got it for me. I was probably like 5, 4.
Yeah, and you said you're a big fan of that movie still to this day. That movie.
Yeah, we just watched it the other night. Yeah,
hell yeah.
Like second and 50, I gotta say Dolph. I fuck with Dolph. Like Dolph hard. Yeah.
What was the one we watched the other night? You had me check out with the kids in were they in Jersey or whatever, or when they were stealing the cars or whatnot, and one of them got killed.
Oh, New Jersey Drive.
New Jersey Drive. Yeah.
Evan put that on. Evan asked me to put that on. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, no, that was good. Those movies, like, it's funny because like you think of culture and stuff, and like some of the Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, like these are when I was a kid, right?
Classics.
And they're still
my shit.
You know what I'm saying? And like people to most people, like it's a movie, it's fantasy, it's like it's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
And then but it's really not fantasy. That's a reality for many people,
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, man. It's crazy, right? If you think about it, because people can't believe like some of that stuff happens, and it does, But I think that's what makes it so good, It's like real, it's raw, and people can relate to it.
Of course, absolutely.
From a distance, especially.
So you said 50, Dolph. You like Dolph?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dolph, dude. He got shot quite a few times, right, before he actually passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, a lot of his music's good, man. Where's he from? Memphis?
Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the trap stuff, like King Von and shit like that?
King Von, like I ain't too big of a fan like Chicago drill, but it's like I like.
He had a couple bangers though.
Yeah. It's like I listen to like Dirt, G Herbo, all them that came up like around the time I inspired me to rap. So it's like
we're similar in age. I know you fuck with Chief Keef.
Yeah, Chief Keef, yeah.
Yeah, Rondo number 9.
Yeah, and you think about too, the generation, like the stuff that's passed down, and I think a lot of it correlates too to society in general. But like, what are the problems? Like, obviously drugs, alcohol and drugs are a huge is an epidemic, right? It's been there. It's always going to be there. How can we survive with it? In here, and like I think of those kids from Chicago and stuff. They call it Chirac and shit like that. And I mean, to me, it's intriguing where it's like. I grew up, in my neighborhood in Boston, whatever, and like it was like, if it was like a feel good, like it felt good, but it was like we were also protected, right? Like there wasn't drive-bys and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyone that tells you that's fucking lying, right? And that's how it was, and like I wouldn't change it for the world. But there's shit that I can't relate to. I can't even fathom, And those kids, that's why to me it's so intriguing. Like the King Von and all those dudes, like talk about. Being fucking misinformed by the misinformed, or being so full of like the fear, because I know where it stems from. They're not gonna say that, right? They'll fucking they're so scared that they'll fucking shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so I think of
100%.
that shit. I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they literally were born into, some people are just born into the lifestyle, man, and born into it, and product of your environment is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's not an excuse, but it is a factor.
yeah, it's not
100%.
an excuse, but the truth is the truth, right? And I know, like, for one of my good friends, right? I talk about it a lot, and like, he literally grew up, dude, and his whole family was fucking drug dealers. What do you think he ended up doing? You know what I mean? And like, my whole family was drug addicts. What do you think I ended up doing?
Yeah, you
Not
follow
an excuse,
suit. Yeah.
but like, it's you look up to your father, you look up to these people, right? And it's like, it is what it is.
Well, you learn what you learn, and I think
Yeah.
that's why it's even more. I think that to even focus on like the grandmothers, right? The family members, the people that like are there,
affected.
the people that not only are affected, but like think about how many kids are brought into this world, and like and people like a family member takes them in and raises them, right? It's like not for nothing, bro. And then we'll have the audacity to be like, catch a resentment towards the person. It's like, bro, they should think you suck. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like me, but it's like, I know you love me, but like, you're probably not always going to like me. You know what I mean? And that's fucking, I have to accept that,
Speaking of, dude, not to interrupt, but you saw that video, right? Recently of the I think it was a street fight in Philly where they hit the little kid remember you showed me the other day?
Oh yeah,
that was
with the
crazy.
little girl,
50 Cent actually just reposted
What
that
happened?
shit too. Nah, there was just like an altercation and a fight going on in the streets of Philly, and there was a little infant in the stroller, bro, and one of the ladies like hit the little kid, bro.
Yeah.
Like, probably 3-4-year-old kid, if that, and it's just it's fucked up, dude. It's like, I don't know, a lot of people, bro, like, like, I don't know, anyone, like, especially from like Joe's generation, dude, like, you don't fuck with kids. Like, that's one
elderly or kids or citizens or people,
limits.
right? It's
Off
like,
limits.
right. I mean, or people that are just living their life. You know what I mean? We try to force our will sometimes, and it's like have expectations of other people or whatnot, and think like, no one signed up. Like we chose to like to hit the streets, or we chose to like do what we did, or sign up for this fucking facade of an organization. You know what I mean? Like blood in, blood out. Like maybe we should have fucking not watched Boys in the Hood of Mass Society so many times when we were a kid. You know what I mean? Or thought that shit was like what was cool or what was real. But it is what it is. That's not how it is anymore. Like talk about honor amongst thieves or shit like that. That sounds great. But like at this point, maybe write a movie script about it. Because
I'm glad you just said that. I want to give this dude Nelson from Honor Amongst Thieves. I want to give him a shout out. I recently went on his podcast.
Check out Nelson. Yep.
When I went Honor Amongst Thieves on YouTube, I recently went on his podcast when I went to see Ian Bick on Monday too. But so Sean, like, when did things start to really get bad enough where you were like aware of the fact that I have a problem, I should probably get help, or maybe not even get help, but like, what was some really tough times for you that you had that realization?
Like tough shit, like going through like from like losing cars and fucking like money, just wasting money on like drugs and drinks.
Yeah.
It's just like
typical dysfunction.
Yeah. Like,
no shit.
I was just like, I get a V. Like I think the last V I had, I like got it and like crashed in like 2 days, bro.
Yeah, it's a false sense of security because you're literally living in fantasy land because there's certainly no discipline involved with that. I thought it was easy come, easy go. I thought that like, what do you mean? All right, if I run out, I'll just go grab more, right? Yeah. And I felt like it was my right to grab more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'd be like, well, I don't, Oh, sorry for taking this from you, but I need it more than you.
And like, who in your life who in your life like was like saying like, Sean, you need to stop doing what you're doing, or you need to get help or whatever?
Pretty much like everybody was in my ear as far as like getting how PCP, because like it was like looked down upon. Like I would say like in my family, like even outside of it, like looked down upon, because like it's just not, even though it stopped making me like trip out real bad, it's just like you never know what somebody capable of.
Yeah, because you get a tolerance, right? And you start to be able to
that's what I meant though.
function
That's what I was saying earlier, and that's interesting to me because like I said, in my neighborhood growing up, that's the best way. It was glorified.
Yeah.
Right. It was a cool thing to do, and like, you don't need we don't need much to run with, you know what I mean, or excuse to do something that we're gonna do regardless. But like that was a recipe that was for disaster growing up in my neighborhood, where it was like that was if you did that, that was cool. Like you know what I mean? It was the cool thing to do, and in fucking retrospect, it was actually fucking foolish. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But it's good to hear that like you had people in your life trying to direct you and guide you to go get help to where
Yeah.
you're at now. When did you? Is this your first time trying to get sober? Getting
Yeah.
sober? Yeah.
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 Like
So,
I will always like try myself from home or something like that. That won't last like
Yeah.
a minute. Like I think the
Yeah.
longest length for like trying myself, I just alternate like weed or
Yeah.
like drinking or something like that. But it's like always back to the
Of
dust.
course. Well,
And
I
it was
think. Yeah.
just like mainly like I was just like
Yeah. Of course.
So do you think that they talk about what do they say when you move somewhere or whatever? That's not the answer. Like
Yeah,
with
geographical.
geographical change and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, in some cases, though, it's certainly it does
It
help.
helps.
You
It
know,
takes
Yeah.
you. If you. Here's the thing, right? I think. No, there is no geographical cure, right? Because you could send me to Arizona, and if I'm a bag of shit, I'm still gonna be a bag of shit when I get there, right? But at the end of the day, when you're a part of a community like we have here, around people that are gonna love you till you love yourself and pick you up and build you up and bring you to meetings and help you find a job and
yeah.
just because.
just because, right? With no hidden agenda, with nothing in return, that's the shit that will help you grow because
Yeah.
it puts you. I don't care who you are, dude. You come from fucking Jersey, you come from fucking Lowell, Charlestown, and you go a couple states over. Like I tried doing it, man, and like I wasn't willing, but it definitely made me uncomfortable, and it definitely put me in a position where I was like, it's gonna either make or break you, right? You're either gonna fucking show up or you're gonna run from it. You know what I mean? And
Now,
like,
can you maybe you can segue into like your experience, like what it's been like, your experience in Boston or whatnot. If even if you had any prior like thoughts or like scenarios where like what did you know or think of Boston before you came up this way?
Yeah, I like
I
that.
mean-
Great question, Joe.
I do know a few people that's here, so it's like my like vision of it was like basically like I heard that it was a nice area and stuff like that. Like and like basically how I saw it was just like I didn't know what like was going on, cause like when I left the Plymouth house, I just knew that like I was ready to stay sober and like
Do
basically,
whatever you had to do.
do whatever. It was just like I had to leave my kid behind, so it was like it was tough. Like I ain't
Yeah,
really,
you really weren't
I was,
thinking about
yeah. Before I
Yeah.
left the Plymouth house, like they was trying to refer me to go to Maine, and then I was talking to my grandfather. We was like basically trying to set up sober living in Jersey, but I'm like I had to think to myself like
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's like I wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I knew
of
I wasn't
course.
ready to go back to Jersey.
And that takes a lot of growth, man, to know that you're not ready. Because, like, I know same for myself, right? Like, I have 2 daughters, right, and a great family, and we all have a good family. But it's like, it's a real hard pill to swallow to be like, man, I have to put myself first and take care of myself in order to be the best version of myself for them, right?
Yeah.
We're no good to our family, right? If we're not putting our recovery first. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And that's
It's that simple.
the hardest thing. I feel like that's one of the hardest things I've ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like parenting. These things. Just showing up for life, like being a productive member of society. Like, how can I even get there if I'm still battling like how to care enough or feel worthy enough to like to do something for myself or to feel confident enough or to feel good enough, worth enough. Have enough energy and like to be able to show up for life. When I wake up and my eyes open and like that first thought kicks in or whatever. Where it's like for so long it was like doom and gloom. And then realizing like okay, that takes time and effort.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So, Sean, I want to ask you, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I think it's fair to say, right, that there's probably not as much. I know there's definitely meetings out in Jersey and stuff like that, but there's not as much help out there as there is in Mass, right?
Yeah,
Like there's a
no,
lot
like-
of treatment centers out here, and
Like, bro, honestly, like, people always told me, like, yo, you need help. But, like, it's like hearing it from my son, mom, or my grandfather or something like that. He always told me, like, when you ready to make that call, because, like, that's who insurance I was under when I came through.
Yeah.
So it's like, they always told me, like, when you ready to make that call. But I ain't never look at rehab, like, how it is. Like, I never looked at recovery how
yeah,
it
why
is.
would you?
I looked at it like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I looked at it like basically it was just gonna be some like detox type shit. Like
You don't know what you don't know, right? Yeah. So
like I was gonna be right back out there getting high anyway. So I ain't know that they had all these like different like sober living programs and stuff like that. PHP. I just thought it was like a 30-day program you go, but like I
go
never
back
heard
home and
I never only thing I heard of AA and like growing up was like basically in movies, bro. Like,
of course. And
So what was your first your impression, which you're speaking about now, like of when you got here, when you got to the Boston area and stuff? Like what's been your impression? You know, I know you speaking on like the sobriety aspect, the AA and stuff like that. You know, which is obviously like where, but overall, like what's been your impression? You know,
like my impression is just like basically I seen like more opportunities. Like with a clear mind, I ain't like have to worry about like whether like I'm gonna lose a job and then end up trying to do some other crazy nonsense to do. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sit in no jail out of state, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
absolutely, no jail anywhere for that matter.
Hell no, we ain't going back, man. And I think that's awesome, dude. You've talked about it, right? I think, you've kind of, you've done great in the house. You've done great out here, and I know you like it out here, man. And you're working for.
We like having you out here.
Yeah,
Man.
we love having you out here, man. And you work for the T now, right? And you love that, and you do a lot of hours there, and you go to meetings, which is great. I know you've kind of thought about it, right? You've thought about maybe staying out here, right? A little bit,
definitely.
which is great. And like, if you could, you got a son, right? How old's your son?
He'll be 5 next month.
5 years old. Wow, man.
That's what's up, bro.
I think it's awesome, man, because me and you are similar in age, and like we all laugh and joke, bro. We Sean comes home at like midnight, bro, 1 o'clock in the morning. Me and Joe are up eating ice cream, watching TV, and it's like
I swear I wait up for him.
Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air, dude. We got Evan, we got Sean, me, you, and we just catch wreck, bro, and have a good time. And it's like it's just amazing.
No, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to go somewhere where in a sense of community. You know what I mean? They say the opposite of addiction is connection. And we definitely have that connection. And I feel like we push each other, and because that's where the mindset and like the change shifted, where like, and that's growth, right? And like we should acknowledge it, because it's hard for us to take like give ourselves any credit at all. But like that selfishness where you can be like, think about someone other than yourself enough, where it's like, man, like and accept their, reciprocate that love and affection and like just sense of just a human nature, you know what I mean, to like lift each other up, because we all know the alternative, the opposite of that,
Absolutely.
and we've there's no reason, we're not doing anything to like warrant feeling like that at this point.
100%. So what was it like going through the Plymouth House? Did you like, I know they make, they kind of push the step work and stuff, so that you went through that process?
Yeah, I did, but it was like how I looked at it more coming in is like I was like at ease with it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew what I was walking into, but I didn't know what I was walking into.
Yeah, of course.
I just knew that I was gonna get sober, and it was just like I went there, my first day there, I'm just like participating in like activities that they got going on, a lot of different people, like slowly but surely like getting in like comfortable with people, like talking to people about stuff and stuff like that. But it was like the step work, like I like to be like patient with it, because it's like they push, you got to complete your 4-step before you leave, you got to complete it. But it was like a lot of the stuff that I was writing down, it was like
it's
tough.
serious,
So it was
Or
like,
some heavy deep-rooted
stuff.
shit that like you're not, fucking.
And for anyone listening, man, like I'm no fucking guru, none of us are, right? None of us claim to be, but I think it's, your process is your process, right? And some sponsors are all about fucking banging that shit out, getting it done quick, and everyone's trauma is different, man. Everyone's fucking
everything ain't for everybody.
Everyone's process is different. There's people that have stayed sober and not done the steps. There's people that have done the steps right away, and there's people that are still working on it, man. I mean, I definitely subscribe to doing step work, man, and taking a look at yourself and all that deep rooted stuff.
Yeah,
like
100%.
so that
it can't hurt.
No, it ain't gonna hurt.
And I think that it comes down to the individual, where what are you willing to do, and at the same time,
how well do you want to get?
How well do you want to get? How quickly? And at the same time, can you, when you put your head on that pillow at night, are you tossing and turning? Is your head racing, or can you fall asleep? To me, like that's, I know I kind of try to simplify it like that, because I can gauge my own stuff, and I know today it doesn't matter about what I portray or like what you perceive of me. It's like what I know about myself, and what I'm,
I think Joe's low key sending shots to me, dude. I slept like shit last night.
Yeah,
I gotta go. Pray
No,
right
that's
now.
your own shit, bro. Hey, no, do me a favor, my OCD, bro. Can you just do that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's been the whole time. I swear you did it just to fuck with me.
I didn't, dude. I would never do such
So,
a thing.
Sean, listen, let's
He was organizing his chapstick, color coded.
Actually, where is that shit, bro? Yeah. See, I mean, there's all sorts of addictions, people, you know, and like this, some will hurt you, some won't. But like, shout out to Soft Lips. You know, you're gonna start endorsing the show if you want any more.
Yeah, we got to get sponsored by Soft
But
Lips,
this
dude.
shit, yeah, it's small, it's compact, it's strawberry, it's free at Walgreens or Rite Aid if you're sober. You're just gonna show me a chip. No, I'm only joking about that. But yeah. They said if you get sober, they told me if you know what they say. If you get sober, you can do whatever you want. So I kind of ran with that one, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You switch it up though, right? You go to the Birds, Bees, and the Comex from time to time, right?
Not really. I mean, I try to be loyal to Soft Lips, you know. But like they got to start sending some money or something, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know they probably don't need me as like, you know, their poster boy, but
you're an asset though. You're an asset. Don't put yourself down like that. Settle for less, dude. Soft Lips. If you're out there, if you're listening, maybe one day.
Yeah, I mean, Sean's a big advocate for the, you know, for the lip stuff. You know, especially in this, you know, up here in Mass with the weather and shit like that.
Yeah.
You can't be walking around with ashy skin or fucking chapped lips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gotta fucking do something about that.
Speaking of that, dude, my boy called me before this, and I don't want to give him no airtime. I don't even know what his fucking Instagram name is. It doesn't matter. But yo, how about that dude saying I was pandering, bro? That was
that shit was crazy because he was like. We all go through the same shit as humans.
Yeah.
Like I said in the comments, like it's like, bro, no matter what the fuck your skin color is, like your race, sex,
well, let's
whatever,
break it
like,
down so the audience can understand that you know, there's a lot of trolls online and stuff like that. There's a lot of people, you know, sick people or people just haters, right? A lot of cowards, you know, and you know, so a guy had put something out about, and he made it a racial thing, and he talked about how white boys and like they talk about trauma and like. Now, what does pandering mean? Because you know, I should know this.
No, it's all right. I didn't know what it
you
meant.
had to look it up, bro. Be real.
No, I didn't know.
No, you're super smart, but I know that you didn't know pandering.
I didn't know what it was
All
until
right.
10 minutes before the podcast, literally, because my boy commented.
I think you're pandering me right now.
It means like trying to live up to like a false image, right? So like, he was basically trying to say that I was trying to. He was like, yo, this dude took time out of his day to do a voiceover and everything, and he's like, why are he did, right? He was like, yo, he's like, what? He's like, yo, white boys in Boston. He's like, why y'all trying to relate to us, bro? And why y'all trying to pander to our community, bro? And like, like I'm trying to be some fucking rapper or some shit, bro. That's what he was like trying to make it out to be. It's like, yo, this is a podcast. Last time I checked. I mean, I don't know, where are we?
Yeah.
Fucking, but. Anyways, dude, he's like, yo, our mothers weren't at no methadone clinic. Our fathers weren't. It's like, bro, you know what I mean? Save it. I don't give a fuck. But
yeah.
Clearly, I'm fired up about it, but whatever.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think
I'll be all right.
He's in your kitchen, bro. That's
yo,
all right.
Honestly, bro, and I wasn't gonna get crazy in the comments. Like I said what I said in the comments, but I did DM him getting a little wild and like, yo, I'm in Quincy, Massachusetts, Monday through Friday,
shit.
Saturdays and Sundays too.
And if you didn't hear in the last episode, he likes guns too. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking.
Yo, Don,
we're all about gun safety.
Gun safety. Joe's like, settle down, will you?
Yeah. But yeah. So what else? What else we got, D?
What else we got? Fucking yeah. So all right, you went to the Plymouth House. Then what? You came from the Plymouth House to Quincy.
Yeah.
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 And how long you coming up on sobriety right now?
Almost like 10, 11 months.
Yeah, coming up on a year soon.
That's
Coming up
what's
on
up,
that
bro.
year. We're gonna have you speaking at the alumni shit, bro. Well, that shit's gonna be dope, bro.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, you're what? You're definitely a power example for me. I see you wake up, you get up, you know, you show up, you get up and go to work every day, you know.
Sean's had pig feet in the crock pot since fucking 10 a.m., bro. He's busting
I know,
it down
bro,
in
right?
that kitchen.
Oh, he's a monster, bro.
He really is, bro.
Yeah.
The baked mac and cheese. Sean gets it going, dude. That baked mac and cheese on Thanksgiving was busting.
Yeah, bro.
Busting.
Listen, yeah, we might be able to do something with that.
Chitlins.
Yeah.
What, Nick?
What, Nick? Settle down, bro.
Yo,
Rest your neck.
dude, stay in your lane, dude.
Yo, Sean, right? So yeah, we just catch wreck. You know, everyone plays their role, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know, if we need to if we're having like a little downtime, whatever, or you know, we're a little awkward, awkward silence, then you can always just tell Nick to like eat a dick or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude.
No,
Yeah,
it's all good. Just boys being boys.
I said last night, it smells like fucking hair dye and homosexuality. Dude, it was
Yeah.
like 3 a.m, dude. We just kept going, dude. What do we say? Fucking, I can't say a lot of what we said.
No,
on
we
here.
we have fun though, and that's the important
can I get some
message
of that?
here. No, bro, I don't share my chapstick. Sorry. No, I mean sorry, but
What's that from? Napoleon Dynamite? I think it is.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Where is Napoleon? Get him up here.
Yeah. We got some characters here,
Oh, donkeys,
But I tell you
too.
what, for what it's worth, and like the whole woke movement and people like bullying and all this shit that I've said before, like who the fuck didn't get bullied when they were a kid? Like I'm, that shit made you tougher. You know what I mean? And it made you be able to laugh about certain things and not be so sensitive. Where it's like, we have some characters that come through here.
Yeah.
We're probably number 1 and 2. 1 and 1A, absolutely.
100%. I want to.
But I think that people want to be seen, heard, and like there's a way to go about it. You can joke and play and stuff, but and I think it breaks up the monotony of it of every day.
Yeah,
everyday
well, I wanted
living.
to talk about that a little bit because I think I had probably just gotten to the house around this time, a little bit before Thanksgiving, and we had the flag football tournament.
Yeah.
And I was like new to the house and just met you and and we're not gonna talk about what Nick did. Maybe we should actually, but anyways. We all got close to it, and like it's fun, bro. It's fun, like going to these recovery tournaments, whether it's basketball, football, fucking whatever it is, right? Because I don't know, man. We're more than just addicts and alcoholics, right? And like when you come into this process, you can have a lot. Like I've had more fun in this process than I've ever had fucking drinking or drugging. I think we could all say
100%.
that. You know what I mean?
And to see that in someone else, like
Yeah.
maybe difficult sometimes to like acknowledge it in ourselves, but to see it in someone else, I see he was in his element that day.
Yeah, of course. He just recently said to me too. He's thinking about going back to doing semi-pro football.
Yeah,
over the
so
summer.
bro, yeah,
Boston
this summer.
Bombers.
No, Sean's an athlete.
Sean's a
he's
freak
the real
athlete.
deal,
Yep.
He's definitely Rockland's. He's our QB, and but yeah, if anyone wants to join the squad, we're definitely coming for that title.
Yeah, 100%. We're coming for Gavin, dude. You heard it here first.
I gotta heal up though, bro. I swear to God, I broke my finger. I definitely broke it, bro.
Dude, Joe's had a bad fit.
I got a bad wing,
Let me
dude.
just
Seriously.
preface this with,
I should probably be in a sling right now.
dude,
give me a
he probably should have went to urgent care about 3 or 4 months ago, dude. This tournament was what, Thanksgiving? What are we in, almost March?
Yeah,
dude?
but I just laced up. Bro.
Yeah, the palm of his hand
He
was like a
laces up.
balloon.
Yeah, yo, his shit was nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, from that one catch, dude, yo, coming across the middle, bro. He dove,
Yo,
bro.
Sean, no, sometimes I need to be humbled. You know what I mean? I'm still legend in my own mind sometimes. And I went out there. I thought I was, yeah, I thought I was double A or Gronk or something.
I was
and I found out I was fucking give me a bum fucking tight end.
Found out you were Al Capone.
I thought I was Al Capone. I found out I was alcoholic. But yeah, now I'm just Hunter Henry, bro. I get the ball thrown to me once in a while,
To Henry.
Yeah, but I don't know. No, yeah. So I'm gonna need a couple more targets, bro. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, of course. But hey, Sean,
'Cause,
you
yeah.
hit me with a missile, dude. That was a bomb. That
Yeah,
shit
we're
was
gonna have to
fire.
show. We're gonna have to get that on there.
Yeah, we'll
Nick.
get
We're
that
gonna
on
add
there.
that.
Nick just gave us a thumbs up.
'Cause that
So good.
was,
Thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate it. I wasn't sure if we were able. To
That
get
was our.
done.
That was our. That was nice. Yeah, we
It
got.
was dope. It was real fun. So yeah, what do you like? Sports, right? What do you still watch? What are you into? Who are some of your favorite teams still to this day? I know Tatum's your favorite player,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
JT.
JT.
We'll have to
JT.
get you. Yeah, we'll have to hit a Celtics game.
Yeah.
I know Eddie's a big Celtics guy.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. So you a Celtics fan, or you must be
no,
if you're a Tatum
absolutely,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And we got Sean into hockey too, bro.
Yeah, we
You know
got
what I mean?
Sean.
Don't
Oh,
get
no,
it
I've been
twisted.
on hockey.
Yeah,
Don't get
yeah.
it twisted, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Sean knows what time it is.
Yep.
We'll have to get on the pond with Evan. Evan just broke up before the ice melts.
What?
We got to get on the pond.
Oh
Pond-
yeah,
pond
absolutely.
hockey.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Well, you just got fucking aggressive there, bro.
No, that was the angel dust, dude. I just didn't
No, I
know what
know.
you said.
I just felt like threatened there.
Sorry.
So what's up? We got anything else for Shauno?
I think we still
Anything-
got a little time. What do we have? 40. What are we at, Nick? 50 minutes about? 55. Yo, lower your voice, dude.
Yeah. So we'll sign the lace up, right? And
Yeah.
hey, so I do want to know before we go, right? Because it's something that we've discussed, like with the music and stuff. And I know that you've been working with Nick a little bit, and we've talked about getting in a studio. I'm gonna talk to Eddie about that, and Jake has one for us in Dorchester, and it's nice. Like people want to help you when you're helping yourself. You know, I don't know what that is, but it's like it's the proof's in the pudding. So that's something that like you're gonna pursue moving forward, right? The music, and I think that you know I'll stay on top of you, whatnot, and yeah, I need that too. That little push, that little you know, kick in my ass. Be like, what are you doing? You know, and you know, just to be motivated. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, what you got coming up for music? I know you dropping a single soon.
Yeah, single song. But like I'm pushing for like a EP by the summer.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Give it a little promo for a while.
We were actually talking about him because he's from Jersey, and I'll be out. I was showing him some King A shit the other day, and you know, maybe we could figure out where a little collab with them two.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think Jake. I think we take the a road trip with Danny, with Jake, and we head out. Maybe that will be part of your you know, your yearly celebration. You know, to do something you know, something cool like that. You know, which and I think that'll be a good thing.
Hey, can we get a special nod on camera real quick? Yeah.
Yeah, a little Rockland.
Yeah.
Yeah, come sit down for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. We got a dog with us, right? Let's go.
Guy right
Yo. Hell yeah.
Jake rocking.
That's all right, dude. That's all right. God wanted that to happen.
Life on life's terms, bro.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit, I almost just died.
Yeah,
No,
this dude's
it's
been, you know, someone's been working out here, bro.
Yo, I was saying
this is my
earlier.
good arm, though, bro.
It is your good arm.
Yeah.
But, hey, show
That's
me.
not your good arm because of that weight. Tell the fuck.
No.
Hey, can we spark up a butt for the podcast?
No, we can't smoke in the house, bro. See, it's tough, you know. I gotta.
So what's the new single called? Let them know.
D&D.
DND.
What's that stand for? Is it like Dungeons
Oh,
and Dragons?
nah, do not disturb.
What is it?
Do not disturb. Nick gonna play it for you after.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Nick's gonna. Yo, can we throw it on right now?
Some Dungeons and Dragons. Recording. No.
Oh, all right, we're good. Yeah, nah, fucking. So you can find my boy. What is it? At 24 RBE on Instagram. And yeah, we got Jake.
Yo, is he? No, he's good. He's good, bro.
Dude, I think he got in my cape pins. I knew he was in my fucking drawer.
Yeah, no, he's all right. Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's good
They're
though.
gone.
But we got a movement going here, man. We're lacing up. You know.
I think you should be sponsored by Old Spice.
Really, bro? I know, man. I put on some deodorant. I think it's hot in here or something.
It's all right.
That's all right.
What's that smell?
What smell?
Confidence?
I got this cologne on called Confidence. Yeah. It really is called Confidence too, bro.
Yo, shout out to Confidence.
Yeah. I'll show you next time, man. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, it's we're doing big things, man. Sean, happy to have you. Jake's always showing up, dude, showing support, showing help, fucking whole Rockland community. We're here. We're laced up. We gotta have him sign the thing, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wherever you want, Brody. It's all you.
Yeah, and if anyone needs T-passes and whatnot, you know what I mean? Well, you can probably do it for a third of the price, you know?
Yeah. You can find my man at Park Street.
We're just kidding. We're not trying to get Sean fired. Sean's a valuable employee, and
he is.
you know, I'm pushing for a raise for my boy here.
24. That's your rap name, right? 24.
Yeah.
That's fire. 24.
All right, any last words, boys?
I don't know.
Lace up.
Lace the fuck up.
Lace the fuck up.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
I got too many hoes tryna fuck on me, my phone on D&D. MOB, bitch you play, is you dumb, I'm keeping it P. Riding the city, duck through potholes, she wanna fuck in the back of the Jeep. She in dick, shorty a snack, but bitch you better not use your teeth. Say I'm a dog with a bust down chain, that little bitch wanna give me a treat. Fucking the sheet, she throwing it back, I'm making a squirt, I know she a freak. Hope my bitch don't find out, that's why my phone on D&D. Hope this nigga don't find out, that this bitch just DM me, go.